Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to The Narrative. We are back, and it is the SLC pre-show. Before we get going, of course, we want to say a huge thank you to Space Station, who are going to be hosting this next major, for partnering with us for the pre-show. So, a lot of good stuff to come your way and talk about here today. Andy, it's great to be back, brother. We've been doing a lot of traveling. We've managed to just about survive the Lottie and PJ wedding as well. It's good to be back.
So good to be back. Like you said, it's been nonstop travel since Atlanta, which is pretty crazy. I believe this, for you and I, is not only our first week of being able to breathe, but it's probably the first time we've slept, it feels like, in many weeks. There was not a lot of sleep at the Lottie and Snakebite wedding, but it was an epic celebration of Halo family. We had Call of Duty family there, Gears family. So an amazing few weeks, but this brings us now perfectly to the Salt Lake City pre-show here, and Salt Lake only a few days away.
It is indeed. Now, before we look forward, we always like to just take a few seconds to look back. And a reminder, if you do want to see this discussion a little bit more in depth, then we do have the debrief, which is available. If you want to check out our discussion about what happened in Atlanta, our thoughts and what went down on all the teams, all that good stuff, then go and check it out on the channel. But one big takeaway, which is now my favorite named segment of any show ever, from the event for you.
Yeah, for me, I went into it in depth in the debrief, as you said, but for me, it's pure. Absolutely love what we saw from them. Can't wait to see what they bring for the rest of the year as well. And looking forward to seeing what the boys can do.
Yeah, very exciting stuff from Pure. I'm going to talk SSG. Their bounce back from London, astonishing. The way that they dominated that event, only losing one game in the winner's bracket on their way to winning the tournament. Absolutely ridiculous run from them. Very excited to see what they do, of course, at their own event as well, which they won last time around. Remember, I always talk about this, but the SSG event last year was the first one that SSG won. Yeah, so that's like a standalone.
Exactly. It was what they needed to be able to win. So pretty amazing to see them already coming into this. Not just, keep in mind, they were in the back foot last time. This time they come in as the number one seed as well, so it could be special.
Now let's talk about why we should be excited for the event, right? Because it's very easy for us both to be very excited for this event, and I'm sure for a lot of people who were in SLC this time last year to be excited as well, because Space Station, as an org, we love them. We do love them, and it's because they do things a little bit differently. And this event is going to be no different at all. Bigger venue than we saw last time, even though I love that venue last time, I have to say. Give us a little bit of a lowdown on everything that you know is going to be going down, because SSG have been kind enough to give us a bit of inside info.
They have. We were picking them on Discord a lot, repeatedly over the days, and they have been kind enough to give an inside scoop into a lot of the stuff that's going on within the venue. And as we said, SSG as an org, they just do things differently. First of all, unsurprisingly, there's going to be an insane merch drop of SSG and Halo stuff at the SSG booth. You know they go big every event. I'm rocking the merch right now. They're going to have enormous projection displays. We can't wait to see them. The SSG guys are really hyped about this. They've been showing us how they've been 3D scanning the entire venue. There'll be 2v2s, which is going to be awesome, from Zydax, the PC brand. Also, you and I are very excited about this one, and we're not sure how much we're actually going to be able to indulge.
I'm indulging in this next one.
Okay, we should say it's a temporary tattoo parlor. It's going to be awesome. And you can imagine SSG is just going to have a bunch of dope Halo and SSG art that you can get. I don't know if Broadcast will let us get face tattoos.
I don't care. I'll pay the fine.
I want to get maybe just full neck kind of
sword.
Yeah.
Energy sword on the neck.
Sword on the neck could be good. Also, pickleball.
Dave Walsh is going to be...
David Walsh.
This is a great opportunity for us to get ahead of the Dave Walsh curve. Just thought of this. Mm-hmm. Dave Walsh will probably tell everybody in that building that it's his first game of pickleball.
Well, of course
you think about this.
He's a fucking liar.
He's a fucking liar. So... if you see Walshy there and he's like, "Hey, I'll play," you want to play? Don't play for money. Just make sure that nothing of value is on the line if you play Dave Walsh.
If you see a David Walsh near a pickleball court, do not approach this man. It is not safe.
He is a threat.
He really is. Can't wait for everything. And to be honest, we know that that's all they had time to quickly send us in a Discord message.
That's just touching the surface of what they want to do.
There's going to be a lot of cool shit at the event, and make sure you get your tickets if you haven't already.
And on top of all of that cool stuff, there's a Halo tournament going on, which is very exciting. We need to talk about that, of course, because that's kind of why we're here, right? We want people to be excited for the event, and we are entering the business part of the season now. 2 events left. I mentioned this right at the top of the show. This is the last major of the year before we head to the Halo World Championships, which is... I mean, where's the season gone, right? It's flown by.
Man. It went so fast.
Let's look ahead. Let's talk about SSG, their run of dominance. They know how to win, SSG. They've proved that. That event win the last time around at Atlanta on their enemy's ground, with the FaZe fans in the crowd, was such a marker and a bounce back. And now going into their home event, like we mentioned, this is the one they won last year. This is where they got over the hump. They managed to get that win. Then it's the Halo World Championships. So this is a big, big opportunity for SSG to really put together a run of dominance here.
Yeah, and I think you and I we talked about it in the last pre-show, but there was a lot of expectations in the debrief as well. There was a lot of expectations that SSG's London performance was a one-off, right? Because that question had to be asked when you all of a sudden dropped to fourth. What's going on? I think they proved it with flying colors and outstanding clarity that it was a one-off, and that while other teams are kind of, and them included in London, but while other teams this season have been kind of fumbling in and out of different positions and trying to gain their footing in a game that has such small margins, they've proved that they can bounce back stronger than anyone maybe ever has in Infinite in terms of back-to-back performances. So yeah, if they continue this, it will be scary. And based on chatting with the players as well as Elamite, I think they have their sights set on nothing less than continued dominance.
Yeah, I think one quote that really stands out to me from the last event that we were in SLC, the SSG one, was Stellar, when he just said, having this crowd is OP. Like, there's no way we can lose. And knowing that it's going to be the same people there from last time, but just more of them.
More.
Because the venue's bigger. Just keep it on Stellar POV for the whole tournament, because that man's going to be he's going to be feeling all of the energy in that room. I think it's going to be very, very difficult to stop SSG at this event.
Also, the volume of the SSG fans in Salt Lake last year was crazy, and the intensity. You had the entire SSG family, right? You had Sean and his family. You had there was just tons of kids everywhere. Like, there's chaos of SSG fandom.
It was wonderful, controlled chaos. You know what I mean? It was just energy, like this crazy energy. It was amazing, man.
It is OP, like you say. It reminds me of the Seahawks having kind of all the support within their stadium, and it just feels like other teams it's unfair to play against, and you can expect that SSG fans are going to bring it once again.
Yeah, going to be a big opportunity for them to put another championship on the board, which would be 3 out of 4.
Yeah,
heading into the Halo World Championships. So a real opportunity for them to make a little bit of history here. We'll leave SSG there for now. Mm-hmm. I think there's not too much else to talk about with them looking forward. It's all about just winning another one and looking as good as they repeat what they did in Atlanta to win the event. Like, they look that good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Optic.
Let's do it. Very curious to see where Optic's heads are at right now, because I think they've had to go back to the drawing board several times this year, and it would have been probably a little bit frustrating, not just having, going back to the drawing board, but maybe even banging their head against that board, because there's got to be a lot of frustration given the caliber of player and the caliber of teams that they are, and to continually find themselves falling so short in a grand final. Because I think it's different. You and I have talked about this, but not as part of the show. It would be different if Optic Gaming was bringing everything to a Game 7, bringing everything close and just missing. Then I think they'd be going back to the VODs and back to scrims and saying, hey guys, let's tweak these 3 to 5 things, and if we do, we know we're just playing our game. Instead, I'm wondering if it's 2 things, and I'm curious your thoughts. If it's a tournament stamina thing, because they've often had to play a lot of long series to get there, or if it's an actual mechanical or team chemistry thing that is holding them back. What do you think?
I'll start off with some of the good things I think that came from Optic last event, which really impressed me. I think Formal's energy was very notable.
Yeah.
Very notable in the
listen-ins.
listen-ins.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, every time he gunned someone, he was letting them know. He was the real energy behind that team, I felt like. And I think he recognized as well that if he's that guy in the comms, everyone feeds off of that. You saw it in the series against FaZe, where they managed to win that one. Unfortunately, maybe got a little bit flat in the finals. I don't know. It's an interesting one with Optic, because we've seen situations where they've gone down in a finals before and they step away from the stage and they take their time to reset and have a think about things and all of that. But we always say first game in a series is so important, right? I think for Optic, first 2 games in a final is massive, because the first one, if they win it, then they're like, it kind of calms the nerves. The doubts go out your head and you just start thinking about Halo, the game that's in front of you, right? If you win game 2, then it's like, oh, we can win this. You know what I mean? It's that switch gets flicked. Whereas if it goes to 1-1, then you start to think about all the things that, the pitfalls that you've been through before. So I think it's a big, it's such a
mental.
It's a mental thing, but it's a psyche thing, right? Because they've shown they can beat SSG this year. They've shown they can beat FaZe this year. They've shown they beat everyone this year.
Just at the wrong times.
But there's just something they need to find in that final. They need to find it. And we mentioned the debrief as well. Wouldn't surprise me to see them win this and Worlds, and then it's like, well, it's been Optic's year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. And that's what's exciting about, I think, Salt Lake. We should mention that as just really at this point in the season, that's what's exciting right now about Salt Lake is because with the exception of Optic, everyone else has been trading places, jumping all around. Optic has kind of been biting at the heels until the grand finals. And the fact that we've only got 2 events left sets us up for what an opportunity, because anyone can come in here and depending on how they do, at Salt Lake as well, can steal the rest of the year. So there's a lot to play for here, and I think every team realizes that as we get ready for this event.
Let's talk FaZe.
FaZe.
Great wedding, I will say.
Yeah, honestly,
fantastic wedding.
Great wedding. Big congrats to Lottie and PJ on their marriage. They have been a duo for a very long time, but now to see it ceremoniously celebrated, also, by the way, by Golden Boy.
Which we have checked is legally binding.
It is.
Because he is the type of guy to go, sure, I can do that.
Yeah, he actually is. We had to check the line. We had to check the paperwork, and surprisingly, it was actually all legit. But congrats to Lottie and PJ. We got to hang with the FaZe boys at the wedding as well. We already know though that following those days of celebration, the FaZe boys are going to be in the scrims and in the volleys.
They have been. Trust me,
without a doubt.
No honeymoon yet. We'll do the honeymoon after Worlds.
Exactly.
I think is now the
there's something to get ready for.
The change to business now. Atlanta, heartbreakingly bad. I mean, what else can you say? A FaZe event. What are their expectations for this event?
I think they have to win it. I don't think that FaZe is going to look at, because keep in mind, dropping to 6, I don't think that they're going to say, okay, let's just get our bearings again and let's get ready for Worlds. I have to imagine that with the exception of the wedding itself, every single day and night has been the most clinical, because keep in mind, there's a little bit of deja vu, I think, for you and I right now, and probably everyone watching and listening. FaZe has been here before, right? The way that they fell flat earlier this season, 3rd place in Arlington, and everyone was like, whoa, what's going on with FaZe? So to instead drop to top 6 is crazy for FaZe, and I think that they will have the most clinical VOD review. They will be asking very, very critical and serious questions. And I have no doubt that they are thinking, we are coming in and we are winning the next 2 events. Without a doubt. I don't think that they'll be beaten or battered if they place, say, 2nd because of a close grand final. Mentally, I'm not worried about that at all. But in terms of prep, I think they are thinking like, okay, this. Everything else is in the past, and we are now looking at these next 2 events as the most important events of our career.
Yeah, it's interesting to think now that the eyes are off of them, right? Because after London, we were like, wow, FaZe, wow, no one's going to beat them again. How good were they?
Yeah.
And now that discussion is about SSG.
Yeah.
So FaZe can prepare. They can go away and do everything you've just talked about, turn up to the event, and the expectation maybe to go back-to-back isn't obviously going to be there because they didn't win the last one, but it's a different way to approach a tournament for them, and also it's not their event. There's not that expectation, that demand as well.
Right.
I think a lot of questions to be answered by FaZe, obviously, but I think this is the kind of environment they thrive in, right? When everyone's starting to talk, FaZe, what's happening here? And look what they did in London after the first event of the year. So.
Exactly. So I'm surprised that they're getting this kind of like checked again. And what I mean is not mentally checked. I mean that they're getting questions asked of them again. I don't think they expected to find themselves here. But like you said, if there's one thing that gets these dudes going, it is disappointment.
What do you think that went wrong? I know it's a very, I just think they played shit. I don't know there's no other way for me to put it. It wasn't one player's fault. Statistically,
no.
I don't think anyone had a terrible...
No.
It was just, the bar was not high enough across games to consistently win series.
And I think the sentiment from the FaZe team afterwards, first of all, it was very mature and very humble, but I believe what they kind of came away from the stage saying was, you have to turn up for every single series. If you're playing anyone, even in the top 8, you need to turn up for every series and treat it very seriously, like you are in a do or die, right? Treat this as, because you don't want to drop to elimination bracket, treat this all as a single limb do or die, play the best Halo you've ever played type event. This is not an easy era of Infinite. This is not an easy meta of Halo Infinite. So I think it's a matter of the second you lean forward for every single game, I don't care who you're playing in pool play, doesn't matter if it's a team from open bracket that you've never heard of, lean forward, play the same exact Halo you have played, and if there's one team that can do this, with the focus that you need to win a world championship, it's FaZe. Everything to play for the rest of the year.
So the team that disappointed, FaZe, will move on to another team who have been very consistent this year. I'm giving them one sentence, and I'll tell you for why. Shopify Rebellion. If you win a series on a Sunday, The entirety of the next narrative will be dedicated to you.
If they win one series
on a Sunday,
not the whole show.
Why not? No, I don't care. Like, I'm at that point.
You're giving away the whole
what
show?
is going on Sundays for them? It's not just winning series; it's winning games.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all I'm giving them. Win a series. We can talk. Love you guys, by the way.
I'm going to give them a bit more. We talked. Interestingly, I agree. This was a bit of a talking point, the Sunday Shopify Rebellion, up until now. We even grabbed Best Man for an interview before the event, and we said, what's going on? How are you guys approaching Sundays? He was very candid with us, saying that they knew exactly that they were under no illusions of how poor their Sunday performances were. But then it happens again here. So I think it's warranted. It's no longer like a fun thing to talk about. Oh, this team, if they only click on Sundays, it's like they must now be looking at their gameplay and their focus and wondering, if we're playing such good Halo all weekend and all the time, what's going on with the Sundays? And I don't, at this point, I'm not going to lie, I don't actually know what the solve is, because I've never been part of a team that is this good and placing this well, or I will even say that I can remember historically that has done this and failed this hard on a Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from.
Tell me your question.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is that gap bigger than we think it is?
I think it's a really good point. It could point to that there's actually a bigger gap, and that while they're unbelievable players and team, I wonder if brackets have fallen in such a way where they've gotten further than maybe the power rankings suggested they should have. I think it's a good question.
We've seen like so much good from Shopify Rebellion, online, offline, Outlands, in pools, in the bracket. But that Sunday is such a different ball game. It's and they're learning that right now. And again, I always mention this when we talk about Shopify Rebellion, because I'm kind of doing this with a little bit of like an asterisk, right? I'm being a bit of a for a reason. And it's like we've moved the goalposts from the start of this year because they're that good.
Yeah.
They are that good that now they need to, their next step is to win a tournament, but they're not showing at the moment that they're going to be capable of doing it. Yeah. Okay, speaking of teams who disappoint, let's talk about someone who was very, very good. Very impressive and put a smile on my face, and I think a lot of Halo fans' faces throughout the weekend, and that is Pure.
Rather than talk about Pure ourselves, we figured best to interrupt this segment with an interview with one of the standout players from Atlanta and this season overall. Last Shot, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You bet. I mean, it's been a wild ride for you guys so far. Crazy trajectory. Top 16 in Arlington, top 8 in London, and then top 4 in Atlanta. Before we dig into Atlanta specifically, just how would you describe the year so far?
It's been a long ride. First event, Drug couldn't get in. That was a little bit of a setback, a disappointment kind of. Then we decided going into London, we pick up Collect. Didn't really work out how we intended. Got a top 8 finish, not what we were hoping for. And then come Atlanta, we got top 4 at that event. Kind of proved ourselves a little bit in the top 4 range, and yeah.
Over a year ago, you tweeted, "You don't want it as bad as I do," and it's still your pinned tweet. I think it's pretty inspiring to kind of see you put that out there and, even like hold it up there. If you think about kind of posting that and then the grind you've been on and then placing top 4, what do you attribute that success to?
I really just attribute it to just all the hard work and just dedication in the off seasons and the FFAs, putting all the work and time in the theater. And also my teammates as well. They've helped me a lot, and these guys picked me up from basically ground zero and just took me and taught me everything I know, and here we are today, and the accolades speak for themselves.
They really do, man. Now that you have almost about a month to reflect on Atlanta, which series or moments kind of jump out now that you've had time since the event?
We started in pool play. We had Optic. We took them to a game 5. Probably that game 2, we were down 20-something, like 3 in the Slayer, and we come back and won that. And it kind of gave us a lot of momentum going into the tournament, just knowing we can, do this against the top teams and go in and upset them, if you'd like to say. Also, the series against FaZe, we just knew we had to come out swinging, punch them right in the mouth, kind of. And just kind of took the shot on them and broke them down.
You definitely did, man. It's that FaZe series, I know Talik said is probably the best of his career. You guys, there's probably no better way to burst onto the scene, especially after their London performance. I also want to talk about, if you look at the bracket, the one thing that you just mentioned that sticks out, of course, is the Optic series as well. You guys took them to game 5 twice, and I'm curious, with everything you accomplished, how much those series have been on your mind, kind of in a, you know, in a way that's maybe fired you up in terms of getting so close twice against Optic, and how this tournament, of course, could have been different if you had taken them down.
Oh yeah, just taking them to a game 5 specifically, being Optic, and just my kind of like first time playing a top team, was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. It gave me a new passion for this game, and just on general, just the pro play. And just knowing that they're that beatable and it's that close, you know, really gives me just so much passion just to keep going and keep playing.
I bet there's a lot of stories of you know, players who have done kind of similar things to you, where they've done so well and then gotten so close to even doing more. And I feel like it's set you guys up for the rest of the year. It won't be easy to repeat, that's for sure. How are you guys feeling going into SLC?
We're just gonna keep grinding, keep putting our heads down, keep staying in theater and stuff like that, and gonna show up and show out.
Lastly, I want to ask you before we let you get back to the grind. You know, your journey specifically has been one of the biggest, I think, standout success stories and kind of breakout stories of the past few years. Any words you have before we go for any kind of aspiring players and fellow grinders that want to create something like you've done?
Yeah, I'm just gonna share something before I get into that a little bit. First year of competing was this year, or this Halo, excuse me. First year I had 0 pro points. I was a no one, placed like top 212 at the first event in Raleigh. And yeah, I just kept grinding, kept putting my head down. I knew I could do it, and you can too. Just stay in theater and keep that dedication.
Damn, it's crazy. I mean, this year's been crazy alone, but to think of all of Infinite for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been an amazing story. It's safe to say that you and the boys have already picked up a lot of fans this season, without a doubt. And Mark and I'd say the whole community can't wait to see what you guys do at both Salt Lake and World. So just want to say best of luck at these last 2 events, and thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for the support, and thank you for having me.
Pure, very excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing them again, man. They were just so exciting to watch, like the way they played. Quadrant. I mean, I mentioned this as well. I thought Quadrant genuinely going into that event with their boot camp, the results they were having, the way that they were playing online, I was like, these guys play like this, they could make a final.
Yep.
They did not make a final.
They didn't.
And I worry at the moment, like, where are Quadrant? Like, where's the ceiling for Quadrant? I've been hearing about it from them, saying, you know, we believe the ceiling is so high, but with all due respect to them, if you've been placing top 3 last year, placing top 4, beating the likes of Optic, they haven't shown anything like that this year.
No.
Nothing.
No, not at all. And I wonder where they are mentally. I think that they need to find a way to dig really deep and change the story, because I think while we saw such moments of brilliance over the past 12 to 18 months, those are quickly kind of becoming fading memories where the Quadrant name was being held in very high regard, and I think there's a lot of questions asked right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think for them, it's a big tournament, a really, really big tournament to prove to not only European fans, but themselves, that they can still hang with the best in the world. Because another event where it's top 8 is a worry, big worry for them. And like I mentioned, ITB as well, we'll give them a quick mention. Huge bounce back from them. Big series for them. Not going to be boot camping for this event. So practice has been very limited for them. So I think it's kind of a little bit of a what to expect. Also, I think they've got to work pretty hard to qualify for Worlds. I think they're like 4th overall worldwide at the moment for points, because of team changes, all that kind of stuff. So this is a big event for them. Like,
it really is.
Got to make Worlds, boys. Got to make Worlds. Let's talk about GA very quickly, because we've got some GAs that are currently in play that we're expecting to be seen at the event as well. Essentially, we're going to be seeing a lot of Bandit and not a lot else. Shotguns are being GA'd, assault rifle, all that good stuff. Essentially, it's just like the single shot weapons, pistol, commando, going to be there, sniper rifle.
Yep.
What do you make of it?
It's, you know, I think I'm not surprised to see kind of the...
Got to mention as well, Bandit obviously been slowed down a little bit at the rate.
Right. I've already just in watching clips, you kind of identify situations where more damage could have been done in a given scenario. You identify where players would not have been able to wrap a corner, things like that, or where team shots would have been more effective but are now less effective. So those are the things I think we'll be watching out for and continuing to watch out for. Now, in terms of the GAs themselves, I think, you know, pro players are going to make the decisions that they will make when as it pertains to GAs. It's been a little while since we've seen Infinite GAs, but they are back. And yeah, if you see them this long through scrims, there's no doubt that they'll be in play for the tournament itself. One thing that I think that's been interesting, and as a commentator, we sit back and watch, but watching the community response to the GAs, there's a lot of kind of viewers who don't love the GAs. However, most pro players who have been vocal are very adamant about them. And I think it's really up to both sides. I think the viewers can feel how they want about the GAs, and the pros can feel how they want about the GAs. And at the end of the day, we'll have to see how everything kind of plays out at the on LAN.
49-49.
I knew this. I knew a question like this was coming.
Game 14. Bracket reset.
Game 14.
Bracket reset.
Yeah.
Grand finals. Halo World Championships.
Yes.
$1 million tournament.
Yep.
You know there's a player around the corner and there's a shotgun on the floor.
Such an evil question.
You see the shotgun down.
Right. Wait, why is the shotgun down? Someone picked it up?
Someone just traded
Someone traded.
in front of you.
That means someone
And you
had
see
the
the
shotgun.
last player running around the corner. He's weak, no shields. Shotgun's there,
Shotgun's down or it's on the stand?
down.
So someone already had it in this scenario.
it's on the stand.
Thank you.
Good, good work.
Yes.
Good work. Very, very acute work from you. You are picking it up off of
The rack.
the rack.
Okay, keep going. Is that the question?
Yeah, it's there's
Question
players
is,
around
in
the
that
corner.
scenario,
do you pick,
49-49
do you pick the shotgun
streets?
up? That's what I'm thinking as well. I think you're thinking the exact same scenario as me as well.
am I.
Pink Street.
Yep. And you're
Yeah,
saying
just around Gen. You get the call out from someone who's like, he's on the Gen. He's crouching on the Gen.
it doesn't matter where he is. Doesn't matter where I am. I am not. I am not.
Absolute bollocks.
I'm not, man. I don't think I'm telling you the neither the dollars nor the neither the dollars nor
For the jokes.
no. Man.
Imagine.
I'm
not gonna lie. If someone did it and just stood up and like made a thing of it, that
don't
would
know.
be amazing.
I might puke if someone.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, it would be awful.
like, sick to my
but, like,
stomach.
So bad, it would be funny.
Yeah, really hope we don't see.
That won't happen.
It won't. I know neither you nor I would pick it up. I hate to say it, but there's probably some players who would. And my God, would it ever be?
What players?
We're not talking. That's a different. That's a different show, folks. That's a different show. There probably are some players who would, but
Narrative After Dark.
I was going to say that's probably a Sunday night. That's a Sunday night Salt Lake City chat with a few drinks.
Patreon exclusive. We don't have a Patreon, so don't worry.
We don't. Yeah, don't worry. The chat won't be behind a paywall.
Okay, so you're not picking the shotgun up, but one thing that you can pick, Andy, is Food Rex.
Thank you.
Can't remember what the last one was for Atlanta.
Oh yeah, you do. Remember, it was all of
the breakfast.
It came from Tony.
Oh,
By the way,
we need to discuss this.
the breakfast. Okay, two very quick things.
Not very quick. You can take your time on this.
No, don't worry. We won't spend too much time on it. Tony,
We love you, Tony.
Tony gave us a great recommendation in the Breakfast Boys.
So when you were down here, let me tell you, you want to go to the Breakfast Boys.
We went. Unbelievable fried chicken and waffles, crazy French toast,
dude. It was
unbelievable. We then told Tony how good it was. We get to the green room backstage. We're like, Tony, my dude, the food recommendation absolutely slapped. He goes, oh, that's great news. I've never been there. And then he laughed away, and then he laughed and kind of trotted away. It was crazy. In the end, the most important thing is Tony got us a great recommendation. I will quickly give the food recommendation for Salt Lake, and it's a credit to SSG because they brought this in for us, but it was Pretty Bird fried chicken sandwiches.
unbelievable.
Oh my God.
It's so good. I'm going back
Unbelievable.
there upon landing.
Yes. Unbelievable fried chicken sandwiches. I'm sure they have a whole amalgamation of other chicken dishes, but man, the fried chicken sandwich, spicy fried chicken sandwich, all the French fries, man, it was good. So we will be seeking that out, as well as we should mention, great coffee scene in Salt Lake City as well.
Yep.
You and I found a lot of good
All
coffee.
within very reasonable, scootable distances.
Yeah, scootable.
Which is good.
Get yourself a scooter, get some coffee, get some fried chicken.
Predictions.
Of course, man.
This is all you, by the way. I never wanted to do predictions, and you threw it in there 1 week.
It's just
Here we are.
It's just the winner for clarity. Man. Okay. We've been, by the way,
Yeah, you have to preface it now.
due to the way that these teams are falling, they have
think
made this tough.
Okay, I got an idea. You can agree with this or not, because it's going to give you time to prepare. For Worlds, we do a top 4.
Sure.
Okay, I should have gone top 6, top 8. I could have got top 12.
I'll meet you at definitely top 3. You'll probably be able to convince me into top 4 for Worlds.
Okay.
For this one, I got to say, these teams have not made it easy. And, the betting odds by the way, the betting odds for this tournament, I don't know where you can bet on this legally or illegally, but let me tell you,
Legally or illegally.
either bookies or some people who just
Underground.
are throwing
Yeah.
down random bets are doing well.
His name is Wes Price. Not true.
Not true.
Allegedly.
But I'm gonna maybe I'll get burned again, But I will say, based off what we just saw, I have SSG winning the event.
I'm going to go with an Optic Gaming win.
Are you?
They are going to break the curse.
Right here, right now.
Do you know why I've gone that way?
Tell me.
Because every event so far has been like the least predictable thing has happened.
Yeah, good call. I like it. The most
It teases us up nicely as well for Worlds, right, if that happens.
Yeah, the most likely outcome is the most entertaining one. I like where your head's at. Okay, and there's a very good chance, statistically, that we are both proven wrong coming out of this one. But yeah, honestly, so just as we were last year, and I so excited for the Salt Lake City Major.
Can't wait. It's going to be absolutely amazing. This was our favorite event, I think, of last year. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. We'll put a link here in the description for everybody to get your tickets. You want to be a part of this one. Like, genuinely, you want to be a part of this. If you're a Halo enthusiast, if you're a pickleball enthusiast, whatever it is, make sure you get down there. Make sure you travel there, like Andy was saying, if you're on the West Coast, to be a part of it. Yeah, it's gonna be an absolute blast, man.
Yep.
Absolute blast. SSG, thank you again for partnering with us for this. If you're watching the show right now and you're enjoying what you see and you're enjoying what we do with the narrative, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like.
Yeah.
And of course, drop a sub as well. We're almost very close to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, cool.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it, to get before the end of the year?
Might happen. Either way, it's been, just such a pleasure putting this show out. Not kidding. Mark just mentioned it, but we read each and every one of your comments. And just love being able to, this is the stuff that Mark and I talk about anyway, prior to an event, whether we're kind of just chatting on Discord, whether we're flying together to the event. These are the conversations we're having anyway. So to be able to have them with you guys is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really good to refocus onto some Halo as well. A lot of traveling been done.
Busy summer.
And
summer.
Good news is for everybody that finally I feel like I've recovered from the Duarte wedding. So congratulations once again to those two. We'll, of course, see them both in SLC. Thank you to Space Station once again for partnering with us for the Narrative pre-show. And I think that's going to do it, brother.
Let's do it.
We've done it again. Managed to do it. So we'll see you all in Salt Lake City for the next major. Peace.
See ya. The narrative.
Woo!
Put those back on. Put those back on.
You've been watching too many ASMR streams.
The Narrative ASMR, a Patreon exclusive.